happy time zones. And to the people who were on screen before I hit the timer, hey, look, we have another person.
Yeah,
Yay!
we're multiplied.
Hello.
Hey,
Hello.
I am. I haven't actually opened my uh, whatchamacallit, YouTube, so I don't know if there's actually people here because they're doing a marathon, write-a-thon
Oh,
this
are they?
weekend. Oh, Spence is here. Hello, Spence.
Hi, Spence.
Um,
Friends!
so yeah, people are there. Oh, and CB is here. Spence and CB are here. So that's pretty much my entire regulars.
that's not true.
Um, hello, welcome to another week of the writing and shenanigans. Um, it's been a week. It has been a week. We
Boy,
had
Such a week.
Hey Jennifer, welcome. Yeah, I had a midweek depressive episode. I'm trying to get back from that, but they're always difficult. Um,
for
but
sure.
I'm pretty much okay, I think.
I like to look at them as psychological log flumes that it's really hard to dry off afterwards.
Yeah.
Like they're kind of inevitable. You can see that you're about to crest the hill and you're like, oh, here we go. Better just scream, it'll make it better.
That is a whole ass mood.
But for anyone who had seen the last part of my Tuesday gaming stream, I attempted. Well, I showed people the opening of my time at Porsche, and I played some of that, and it was fabulous and super gay, and I loved it. And
That game is so much fun. I have logged, I don't know how many hundreds of hours in that game. It is just so much fun.
and I can't decide who I want to date because going into it, the only one I really knew about was Antoine, and I'm like, ooh, Antoine's gay. I like him. And then it's like boy after boy after boy after boy. And I'm just like, oh.
Yeah. So on my first playthrough, I married Gus. And on my second playthrough, I married the school teacher whose name I think is Linda.
Okay.
I far preferred Gus.
But yeah, I'm hoping to stream that one at some point. Still gotta. I've got Graveyard Keeper and Perfect Pancake.
Yeah.
And I fell in love with a new show today. Heartstopper. Oh, so cute, so beautiful. I need, I need gay boy romance in my life. I don't know why. Well, I do
I
know
need
why.
more gay pirates. HBO, tell me, am I getting more gay pirates? I need my gay pirates.
Well, the way Tumblr is going off, I can't imagine that you're not going to get more gay pirates.
They're so cute and terrible, and I love them. And when he cut off Izzy's toe, like I need more of this show. I need more. I need so much more.
But in the meantime, um, sorry, my brain is in 5 million different directions.
I like to think that my brain has discovered the multiverse and just isn't sharing what it's discovering in the other places.
That could be.
It makes me feel better about my inability to concentrate right now.
I
Like,
feel that on a deep spiritual level.
like there's a part of my brain that has discovered the most blessed timeline and is just living there and leaving me here to rot. Like just
Um, so I don't know if people in the audience or in the chat are familiar with American Horror Story, but we're going to discuss an aspect of the first half of the most recent season.
Red
Um,
tie.
yep, Red Tide. And I'm not going to like, it's one of those things where I'm going to describe what the item does, but I'm not going to describe like what the characters go through because of that and what
Right.
the characters are or anything. Um,
No spoilers.
yeah. Um, but it's completely about creativity and talent. And watching it could fuck you up. But that will be after first sprint.
Okay.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'm probably only going to hang around for the first sprint. Um, Partly because one, it is late. Two, it has, as we've discussed, been a week,
Yeah.
Yes.
and three, I've watched some American Horror Story. I don't know if I'll be going back to it, but in case I do, I kind of don't want any details.
Ah.
Ah,
Um, so I will hop out after first sprint, and then y'all can do your horror story stuff.
makes sense. And unfortunately, when I mentioned it to Chloe, she's like, I want to be in on that, but she couldn't because her new position basically gets her home at the last quarter of this stream,
Yeah.
which really sucks. But
To me, the
anyway,
sad thing is when you said do your horror story stuff. I'm just like, oh, I didn't know we were going to be all autobiographical today. That's where my mind went. So
I mean, that too. I'm not going to tell you what to do. Kitty!
Kikini.
No, kitty.
I also did manual labor outside today, and my body is like, fuck you.
Yeah, I did. I went out to a state park and followed a bird watcher around, and uh, I realized that I didn't get in from my trip last night until like 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning, and then I was up my normal time of 8 o'clock this morning. So I'm like, what nap? I don't know what you're talking about, nap.
Yeah, and I got to sleep very or I woke up very early,
Mm-hmm.
slightly earlier than I would have liked.
I see.
Less sleep than I would have liked, but yeah. And I had caffeine yesterday. So today was like, nope, nope, can't do caffeine. So I'm running on no caffeine. Because if I have it 2 days in a row, that's enough to get my body addicted.
Mm-hmm.
Because my body says 2 days in a row of caffeine means withdrawal headaches.
Yay! All right.
All right, are we ready to sprint?
I believe so.
Ready as I'll ever be.
you said that, and the cat got down. Why are you listening to Jason? You never listen to me.
All right, we will sprint in 3, 2, 1, go. All right. Sprint number 1 has concluded. How did people do? What did people do?
I relaxed.
Ah, good. Relaxing is good.
I went down an etymological rabbit hole because I'm that person.
I wrote 300 words.
Nice.
Yay.
Um, I wrote a paragraph and a line, but not on my current work in progress. I was actually writing, uh, starting the idea I had for the next Pride and Prejudice.
Woo.
And I need a name for this woman, but I don't know if I want to give away too much of her. I
Yeah,
mean, kind of a Karen, but
Yeah, don't name her Karen.
exactly.
I already tossed out my first idea because I don't know how to write it in a way that transphobes would not be able to use against me.
Mm,
I had an idea for a fun play on like werewolves, except for from the perspective of somebody who's gender fluid,
mm,
and because as somebody who is gender fluid, uh, I thought that would be really funny to have like it's that time of the month. Oh no, I am agender. Oh no, like it. It was funny in my mind, and I couldn't find a way to write it that wasn't just weird and stupid and wrong.
mhm.
But we have also decided on a date.
We have.
I
Hello,
saw
Bonnie.
that.
Yeah, and I posted it in the Pride and Prejudice Discord channel, and it is the final Sunday of June.
Okay.
Sorry, my when I opened it up to look at it, I saw other messages, and basically words went into my eyes and stopped my brain
Mm,
because it's part of the audio processing disorder.
It's also how Discord just works. Like you
Yep.
load it up and you see all the messages, and you're like, I was doing something. I guess I was responding to all of these people. La, 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 la.
mhm.
Hello, Bunny. Oh wait, I already said hello, Bunny. Anyway, so anyway, the story is about it's a town full of basically everyone in the town is different, and it's like a medieval type town, but there is the porcelain woman who is a legend who lives in the forest, and she keeps abducting people and quote unquote fixing them. And the basis of the story is this woman is imposing her idea of normal onto everyone else.
Mm.
Mhm.
So I need a name for her.
I can just give you a list of names of people in my life who are like that, and you can pick one. It'll be one step removed, and I can still be bitchy about it.
I mean, off the top of my head, I was just going to say Lorraine because every Lorraine I've ever known has kind of been pretty Karenish.
Mm.
And we've also got Sharon, Matilda,
Audrey.
Gwyneth.
They say with disgust in their voice that they didn't realize was going to be there.
Mhm.
I will definitely not do Audrey in that because I had an aunt that passed away a couple summers ago,
Ah,
and so I can't besmirch that name.
Mm.
Gwyneth something or other. I wrote that down. Um, yeah, so that's that. Um, And I think we are ready to discuss the topic of the episode of the I was calling it episode. What do you call it? Stream. Yes. Stream.
So
What are we doing? Why are
I'm
we here?
I'm gonna pop out, but
Okay.
um, I love your faces, and
Love you
I'll
too.
see you soon.
Bye. Thanks for coming. I was too late. Okay. So, you don't have to know American Horror Story um to understand what's going on here. They're in the final season, well, not final, most recent season. Uh, the first story is it has a pill in it. It's a black pill, and what the pill does is it amplifies the section of your brain that controls creativity. There's a couple caveats. Caveat one is once you're on it, the only way to make it work is to consume human blood.
Mm.
Um, and it kind of changes you. Um, but here is the nasty bit. If you don't have talent, if you only think you have talent but you don't really have talent, it turns you into like this mindless ghoul that's full of anger. And the anger
Oh,
is, yeah, the anger is all the frustration of not having talent lashing out at the world.
I almost started naming like 3 streamers that came to mind on that one.
Oh.
But guess what it does to you if you do have talent? It makes you A, super talented and able to produce like masterworks every time. But B, makes you basically feel like you deserve the lives and blood that you are taking,
Mm.
and that everyone else is beneath you and is a stepping stone.
Mm.
So the true evil are the people who actually do have talent.
So Coffee Create Connect asks who gets to decide who's talented. I'm assuming the pill.
Yeah, it's just the pill. It's it just there's a lot of people who thought they were talented and who are not. Um, but see, that's what makes it really freaky is that, you know, another part of this is once you have taken the pill and created masterworks, if you don't keep it up and keep up not only taking the pills but also killing and drinking blood, you cannot create anything ever again.
Hmm. So I see what they're doing with the suffering artist trope
Mm-hmm.
in that because that I've thought about this for a long time that a lot of creativity is a form of neurodivergence.
Mm.
And if we are not if we're in a place that does not cultivate our better angels, we tend to devolve quite quickly because a lot of our relational skills are not always what you know neurotypicals expect from us.
Mm-hmm.
And that feedback loop of being told that you're constantly a horrible person because you don't understand neurotypical culture
Mm.
generally can really amplify those traits and make you want to act out more
Right.
because if I can't understand why you're putting all these arbitrary rules on me, then to hell with all your rules.
Yeah.
And we see that a lot with a lot of both big and small name creators. But the other thing that this is making me think of is the lengths people will go to for fame. Because while this is about creativity, I think of that guy who just got his pilot's license taken away by the FAA because he thought it would be a smart idea to fake a plane crash for views.
Oh God.
Not smart.
And by fake a plane crash, I mean he actually crashed a plane. He pretended that the engine stalled out and jumped out of the plane and let the plane crash in the Colorado woods, where a fire could have broken out and caused so much loss of life and property. Um, and the FAA subpoenaed the uncut footage and saw that he never checked any of the instrumentation. He never did any of the things that you would do if you had a stalled out engine to try to get the engine to, fire back up. He
Hmm.
just went, oh no. Well, I guess it's a good thing I wore a parachute today. And jumped out of the plane and then did like this whole survivor run back to freedom after being stranded in the middle of the woods because his plane crashed.
Hmm.
And yeah, it's amazing what the lengths people will go through because that is so dangerous on so many levels.
Yeah.
Hmm.
For both him, like, something could have gone wrong with the parachute, you know, anything could have gone wrong there because, but also, what if he injured himself hitting a tree on the way down or what have there's so many things that could have gone wrong with that.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
But the lengths that people will go to because they think fame is some sort of panacea that will make all their problems go away. Like I can see the allure probably in the setting for
Hmm.
taking this because not only do you get the dopamine rush of, oh look, I'm a genius, I created this masterwork, but also that chasing of fame because you're
Hmm.
creating masterworks.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm not sure that black pill doesn't actually exist.
Um, but the commentary of it is just it's kind of mind blowing on how, because it's kind of revealed that none of the people who are super famous are off the black pill.
Mm-hmm.
Like all the best creative minds are all these vampire creatures, and the only way to to get fame, to get noticed, is to devour lesser beings.
Yeesh.
That has really been the way of creativity. There is one particular author that I will not name because he is extremely litigious, but anybody who reads fantasy will know instantly what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
His entire career has been based off of, let's say, lightly uh, rehashing other people's stories from smaller, unknown and indie writers to prop up his own career.
Yeesh.
And he's been called out on it numerous times. He's got enough money that he often gets to just settle out of court. And so, since there are no judgments against him, anytime you like mention his name and say that, oh, he appears to be a plagiarist, um, he sues, and
Hmm.
he will not. And basically, the only plea he will accept is you basically have to publicly shame yourself and apologize. Like
Yikes.
you have to kiss his feet and accept that no, you were wrong. He's actually a good writer. Um, and so yeah, there is some of that in the industry. Like he's the most egregious example of that I can think of off the top of my head.
Hmm.
But yeah, there's a lot of that. Like this also reminds me of a lot of the discussion right now around Jared Leto and how is it even possible that he gets work?
Hmm.
Like his movies generally don't perform well. He is not considered by many people to be that good of an actor. He's terrible to people, both on and off set.
Right.
What? How? Because like you can understand how somebody like a Tom Cruise gets work because even though he is reportedly very difficult to work with, people go see his movies. You know what I'm saying? Like you can see how the industry wants to continue to pay him because he's a name that traditionally brings people into the theater to see his films.
Right.
But again, that's also kind of this what you're talking about. There's this excusing of the bad behavior,
Hmm.
and we saw so much of that with the Me Too.
Hmm.
Yeah, most definitely. But
Like
the fact that once you have taken this pill, you cannot get your creativity back without keeping it up. It's that whole, once you've sold your soul, it's gone,
Mm.
which is another really creepy thing. Um, so my I don't know if you saw the title of this stream, but it's the Shady Pines crew takes the black pill.
yeah, I did see that and was wondering because I can think of a couple things that means.
Um, but there's that question of if you knew the consequences, would you take the black pill? Because it's either guaranteed easy street or you're no longer a human anymore and it doesn't really matter.
We've been talking about this a lot in a lot of the chats that I've been in over the last couple of weeks. Not this specific thing, but just how much assholery is required for success
Hmm.
Hmm.
in this medium, and is some of the problem that some people like when you read their work and you're like, how is this not the biggest thing ever? Is the problem that they're just not enough of a monster to be out there constantly doing the whole I'm so great tour and creating the drama
Hmm.
necessary to get promoted because that's how we've set up our promotion system. Because I can think of a lot of people who are famous right now, be they writers, actors, or just that wonderful vague term of celebrity
Hmm.
that only exist because they're good at being monsters.
Yes, and that is a lot of what the commentary is you have to be, in order to make it, you have to sell your soul.
Well, see, I want to argue with this for a little bit. And
Go
Sucker,
for it.
I'm in a very talky place, so if you want to interject, just tell me to shut up.
No, no, please go ahead.
I don't mean to talk over anybody. I'm in a place. But um, you know, I think that it really depends on what we want to consider making it. Like,
Yep.
what does that mean? What does that term mean? And one of the reasons why I stress so much asking yourself that constantly, what does it mean for you? Like, yeah,
Mhm.
would I like my 6 seasons in a movie for one of my series? Yes, I would like that. Would I sell my soul for 6 seasons in a movie? It depends on who's producing the movie. You know what I'm saying? Like, what's the team that's coming in? Because I saw Halo, and no, I don't want my fantasy, my sci-fi series ever done like that. Um, like, no, thank you, that's not worth it, right? But like, because we like to do in our house what we call worst case scenario drills, so that we have a plan in action should something really good happen, right? Would you sell out to Disney? If Disney came and offered you a bunch of money for your IP, would you sell it to them? There's so many levels of things to consider in that, because at that point it's no longer yours. You will never have any control over it again. You may even be banned from ever working in that setting or with those characters ever again. You don't know,
Yeah.
right? So what is it that you consider success? And it's one of the reasons why personally I'm pushing more towards this, like, just I'm looking for middle class success. I want to be comfortable.
Hmm.
Like, I would like to make a living off of my creativity and off of the stuff that I'm doing. And I don't really care about fame. Like, it's weird being recognized at places, and it's not because of my writing, it's because I am generally on a lot of the main panels at some certain conventions, right? So
Hmm.
I get recognized at those conventions as, oh, you're that person who did the thing. Um,
Hmm.
yes, that's me. Um, but that's a weird sensation, and I don't know why anybody would want that.
Some
Like,
people love it though.
to me, it's a weird byproduct of the life that I live, not the thing that I want out of my life.
Right.
But that's something we have to be asking ourselves, like, constantly. What does success look like to you? I would be really happy if I could just get to that, like, ideal state of the 1,000 true fans that are willing to spend a day's salary on me every year so that I can afford to have a decent living. You know, yeah, I may only have 1,000 readers, but I'm doing well, and I've got people that really love what I'm doing that I can talk to them about it and be like, "Yeah, wasn't that crazy when blah blah blah."
Right.
That's I don't understand why fame is the end game. I guess that's what I'm trying to say.
Right.
For some people, it's not the fame; it's the lap of luxury, which is also, I don't know. For me, it seems like why, but yeah, I had more stuff, but it's it's at that point of day where I can't remember that stuff. So
Like my
shall we? Hmm?
well, like my financial goals in life is I would like to have enough money to hire whoever rebuilt Mariah Carey to rebuild me, because yes, please. That's not an accident. I've watched her over the years. Also, or whoever did Cher, because I saw her recently and I was like, "Girl, you look better than you did in the '70s. How? Who did this to you? How do I pay them?" We're like, because that would make for just the most vain part of me actually happy for like 5.5 seconds, and a lot of pain, probably worth it because I've never had that experience before. Might be nifty to know what that's like. But honestly, I want to be able to pay my bills.
So here is the question: would you take the pill?
I would not.
Mm, probably not. I can't see how I would get any of the things that I want from it.
Yeah.
I also think that I think maybe a couple years ago I would,
Oh.
but now I wouldn't. I've just I've discovered a lot more of the world and a lot more than I would like to get out of it.
Honestly, I don't think I would have fun if I were writing these like glorious masterpieces. I really don't. The sweet, weird trash that I write, it's the flaws and imperfections and the weirdness about it that makes me happy.
Hmm.
Right.
And I feel like perfection, like if I could actually do like this masterpiece epic story, it would have to get rid of all of that. Like that strangeness would have to be just smushed out of it.
But what if it could make you like the ultimate Chuck Tingle?
Uh, the
Like,
problem is there's not a Chris Evans at the end of this rainbow, so no.
CB says, I don't think I would. And Coffee Create Connect says, I don't want fame. I like my little bubble of privacy, but I do want to leave something behind worthwhile.
Yeah.
Something that will benefit someone here long after I'm gone. Yes. I want to see. I would like to make a difference, and in everything that I write, and I can't help it, there is underlying like meaning and like a reason for it. Like there's always social commentary. I can't not put in social commentary because I can't. I want to change the world.
Yeah. I've been thinking about this a lot because as I'm going through this, what will hopefully be my final stage, my final ordination that I seek out. We're in the class right now where all of the questions are: what is it that you want to accomplish? How do you want to actually? What do you? How do you see yourself implementing the great work in your
Hmm.
life and in what you're doing? Like how? What part of this do you want to play? And I really like that it's not like a top down being dictated, like, you shall do this. It's like, what do you really want? And we've been talking about this so much every week in our small groups of just like some people, and I've been saying this a lot, so I apologize if anybody's heard me say this before, but one of the places that we've gotten to in our group is, don't ever be intimidated by other people's goals. Because, some people in our class are like their goals are to find a way to help rid the oceans of plastic or to be a part of the movement that brings that about, and other people are wanting to do things to fight climate change or for racial justice and these big like world changing issues. And some of us have smaller dreams, like wanting to start community gardens or do something locally and small. And small does not mean insignificant.
Indeed.
And this is something that we forget, especially in our fame drenched culture, that just because you're doing something small, you never know when that one kind word, that one kind action, that one little thing, that little silly story that you wrote just because you were in a mood one day is the one thing that somebody needs.
Hmm.
And we shouldn't judge our dreams by the dreams of others.
Hmm.
And it took us like 3 weeks of really talking this through to get to a place where we feel like a really firm foundation on that. But, you know, it's so easy to think that what we're doing is small or insignificant, but none of it is insignificant.
Hmm.
You change one person's life, you've literally changed the world, even if that's just your own life,
True.
as you are part of the world.
So with that, um, I'm wanting to start another sprint. Um,
I will probably drop out
I was
during the sprint.
asking if you. I was about to ask if you were going to. Yeah. So would you like to say goodbye?
I would. Hi, folks. I'm Sako Toomey, also known as Casvoit. I write horror, and I'm a witch, and I'm a graphic designer, and sometimes I combine those three things. I am. If you are interested in videos that pertain to marketing for authors. I have a whole playlist of them on my channel, Sako Tumika's Voight, and it's not just me talking, but it's a bunch of other awesome author tubers that have something to say on the topic. So, and I'm working on a marketing boot camp that I'll be releasing probably in the fall. So that is like super on my plate, and I'm really looking forward to releasing that. So you should drop by sometime. I would love to see you.
Yay! And
Yay!
thank you for coming.
Yeah. Yeah, really, really great talk. I'm just like so super tired.
I'm in that place too because I think having a cerebral conversation during these might not be the best choice for me because it is the very ass end of my day,
Yeah.
and I get dumber as the stream goes on. So, with that, we will sprint in 3, 2, 1, go. Well, it would help if I unmuted myself before I ended the sprint, because I said we are done with that sprint. How do people do? What do people do? It's just you and me now, Charlie, and I realized I was talking to a muted microphone.
I have figured out I'm going to call it a direction forward for what I am doing and how I want to present the information because I don't know. When I started writing in this space opera setting, I never thought to myself, I'm going to have to systematize this so that people can understand it from the big picture point of view. That wasn't what I was thinking. Like, I mean, if we want to be technical, like 25 years ago when I first started doodling ideas for the setting, but here we are. What, 7 or 8 books later, and I'm trying to get a tabletop role playing game out for the setting. Like, huh? Well, the published books only cover about 1,000 years of the setting history, and hmm, how do I put all these together?
Uh, I realized during that sprint as I was trying to finish the sentence that I had ended up on during the first sprint, and I nearly popped a vein in my forehead trying to squeeze the words out, that it is past the time of day that I can actually do that. Hey, it is Chloe. How did the HS chat go? It went pretty well. Yeah, I wish you had been able to be here, but I know you couldn't be. Um, if you want to put your 2 cent, basically, if you knew about it, so would you have taken the black pill? Would you take the black pill? Because what we were talking about was not just what it did, but the commentary the show put behind it. Um, and it was a good chat, and my
It
brain just
was.
went vroom.
Okay, nobody said that I had to bring a functioning brain with me to this. I take all the umbrage to that.
No, but I don't think in the real world anyone would actually take it.
I disagree.
I also disagree. I think there's enough people that are fame hungry that would not care one bit.
Because I would argue that whatever the real life version of that is, actors such as Jared Leto and James Franco did, just to name a couple. I could go
Hamburger.
on. We could spend a while listing names of people that I feel like actually did take that pill.
Like knowing the actual consequences. I'm with Charlie. I think there are enough. There are a good number of people that would actually take it. Yep. And CB says I can think of at least 5 people off the top of my head who would. Um. Yeah. It's the world we live in.
And in a lot of ways, it is kind of the question about she who shall not be named. Like, did did she know that she was going to build this entire empire so that she could do her devilish evil to her homeland? Like, how much of this was in the back of her mind at the beginning of things? Because retroactively, going back and looking at early interviews, it's one of those hindsight is 2020 things. Like, did she specifically cultivate a family friendly image? That the more she saw her fame and power growing, she leaned into that as hard as she could, so that she could actually accomplish her more dastardly goals? I don't know, but it looks that way.
That would commit to murdering people monthly in exchange for fame? Yes, we call them politicians. I mean, if that's not the definition of the QAnon mentality,
Well, I mean, it's not even just that. I mean, if you know the history of like the golden age of Hollywood, I mean, there's not enough like shade is not an appropriate word for the literal backstabbing, number of dead bodies, and just horrendous things that people were doing to one another to achieve fame.
um, there there is a character in this season who is like the main character's agent. She doesn't take the pill because she's an agent. She's a talent agent.
Because I really hate to say this because I am not encouraging any of the things I'm about to say, but if the pill actually required you to self harm, I think more people would have taken it. Because that's more, we while we see a lot of the people that are willing to backstab and just destroy people to go up the ladder in fame, we also see a lot of people that are just so willing to destroy themselves.
Spence says, do they have to do it with their own hands, or if it happens because of them, does it count? Actually, the murder can be done by someone else for them. Um, that is a thing that happens. Anyway, but the agent, because Sako has left and is still watching it, so I didn't want to spoil it for her. Agent doesn't take the pill, but she knows what it does, and she completely enables this whole family. And she basically gets the pills and the person making them and takes them to Hollywood and starts just basically building her own empire.
Oh, that's so sad that it's not showing you anybody else's comments. Are you not on live chat? Because if you because it defaults to top chat, and top chat will only show you your own and occasionally those of others. I do that sometimes, and I'm like, why is the chat so quiet? Oh, because I didn't change the setting that is annoying. Uh, I think the story might actually be more realistic if the agents were the ones that were taking the drug, because when, like, without going into too many stories, I mean, if you know anything about Rock Hudson and his agent, and the thing that his agent did to both Rock and all of the other people that were represented by his agency, I mean, that man was a vampire.
Mm.
I mean, he did things that would make some of the people that did some of the worst stuff in the Me Too movement blush and go, "Oh, honey, that's too far."
It would be 100% more believable if it was the agents and not the talent. I would think it'd be more, but I think what happened at the end with the agent is the most realistic. Um, Basically, the agents not caring how many monsters they made because she didn't tell anyone. The the consequences or what happened. She was just giving out the pills to potential talent and basically letting monsters happen just to get the like one out of however many uh had talent and could make her money.
Because while I understand if you want to be in the trad pub world, agents are a thing that happens, and I'm sure there are some good ones out there. But the only time I've ever had to work with people in that industry at all, it was like I felt like I was sitting at a table of cannibals, just waiting to be, cut up and eaten alive. It was not a good experience, and they knew that they could be cruel because my entire fate in the industry was in their hands. And they told like they were flat out about it. I mean, they were just bold face about it, like, we're going to make you cry, we're going to make you want to hurt yourself, you are going to hate us more than anything, but we will get you what you want.
Oh, there is a line from the season that I think you would enjoy, and it's one of the monster creators. Uh, Someone is begging her for their life, and she just looks down and is like, "Your poverty repulses me."
I have heard that in real life. I have heard somebody say that in. I remember getting yelled at. We were at a food show, and we were talking about how everybody was kind of talking about how they run their restaurants and whatnot. And when we brought up the profit share that we have with our employees, people got hostile. I mean, like, we were checking for where the exits were, hostile, because how dare you not exploit these teenagers and whatnot, and dot 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 dot, and just like, so you're evil, you're mad that we're not evil. Like, it was like when you see those movies where, like, all of a sudden the main character realizes, oh crap, I'm at a vampire party
Hmm.
and I might be on the menu. Like, that was the sensation of being in that room, because they were so angry that we would dare to share. And it's like, but that's how you reduce waste. Like, the chefs know we have so much budgeted a month to buy food for the restaurant, and we have wiggle room built in that. Like, if we're really really busy, that number goes up, you know what I'm saying? Like, we're not,
Hmm.
because again, we're not monsters about it. But if all of that money is spent because they keep burning the steaks or what have you, there's nothing left over for bonuses at the end of the month.
Right.
Like, this is the budget, this is what we're trying to do, this is what we're trying to accomplish. Like, you know everybody is part of the process. Hello.
A wild meadow has
What's up,
appeared.
Beaches? What's up, Beaches?
Hello. Um.
And my sister.
Oh, hello.
The
Oh, you
Tommy's
have a
what we
hand
live.
growing out in a weird place. Um. Yeah. Chloe says, "Oh yeah, the way they treat Culkin is insane, but yeah, also believable." Yeah, another selling point. Macaulay Culkin's in the season.
I never really liked him until I saw Saved. Like, Saved was the movie that made me go, oh, he's actually a good actor and I like him.
Oh, she's also kind of right. You're a small enough business that people's actions have true consequences on what they get for bonuses.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, they got livid because we were not, doing the evil capitalism thing. And I'm just like, we would not be successful if the chefs weren't doing a good job and the wait staff weren't keeping people happy at the table. And like, I don't know how you have this weird illusion in your mind that you're the reason your restaurant is successful. Like, you're not. Like, it's everybody that makes that thing work. And just their reaction, I was like, if I wasn't already like over capitalism, that would have been the moment that I just would have like dropped out. Because when somebody literally said, "But you have to exploit them," and I was just like, what? So you know that you're, because so what percentage of of their tips do you take? None. What? How do you not skim off their tips? Because we're not monsters. Like, who skims tips? Like, what? What? Ah.
Yeah, that's you get into positions like that in the real world where just with certain groups of people, when you show any bit of morality or compassion, they get hostile.
Well, it's because any business, and I've tried to explain this especially to writers, all businesses are in and of themselves amoral. They don't have a moral position, good or bad, or they're just indifferent to morals. So if the easiest route to make money is the immoral one, that is the, like, money flows downhill. So the easiest route that you can take to money is the route that most businesses will take. If that's being Amazon and making your employees pee in jars so that they're constantly shoving things into boxes, they're going to make their employees pee into jars so that they're
Mm-hmm.
always shoving stuff into boxes. That's not, and yes, we can say that they're an evil corporation, but that is just how money works. Yeah. Carnivore eat meat. Yeah, exactly what Brian said.
I saw a TikTok yesterday that said that capitalists actually end up killing themselves, not like literally, but like killing their money making thing because they underpay and exploit their workers so much that when the product actually ends up happening, nobody can afford to buy it.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So you kind of destroy yourself.
And I'm seeing this a lot in the book market because honestly, there are like 3 books that I really wanted to buy, and they wanted me to spend $18 for the freaking ebook. For the ebook. It's not illustrated. It's just text. Like, the cover looks like it was made in MS Paint. What am I giving you $18 for?
$18 is like paperback price, isn't it?
Uh-huh. Actually, paperbacks are cheaper.
Yeah, that's like that's like a small hardcover,
Speaking of evil,
like a non-dust jacket hardcover.
So do you, bitch.
the moon has sass.
I have known this for quite some time.
I am working on my remarkable today.
Okay, Meadow.
I want one
It
of
is
those
also
so bad.
important to be able to choose abortion.
I like it a lot.
Health.
I like it a lot.
Consuming.
Hold on, Kendra. Jace, I know I said it before, but I'm going to say it again. Since you like handwriting, when you write, this is amazing because it turns your handwritten stuff into print.
That would
And
be
then you
nice.
can send it to yourself on your computer. So you can write it and then convert it and then edit it on the computer.
Interesting.
Just saying.
But
Just
then
saying.
what would I do with the stack of composition books?
Donate them to somewhere that needs school supplies?
Okay, let me read this to you.
Okay.
Actually, I'm almost at the point where I need to reorder another box of journals, and I'm looking at the cost of the box of journals and the cost of getting a remarkable, and going, this might be how I justify getting one of these.
I'm waiting for it to show up here so I can highlight it.
My sister is writing an informative speech about the importance of pro-choice. So,
Chloe's asking, is that a rocket book?
no, it's a tablet that it's a Paperwhite tablet, so it's an actual tablet,
Oh,
but it feels
she
like
got.
you're writing on paper.
She
Yeah,
said, "Oh,
I like
remarkable.
it.
Got it."
Yeah, so it is spendy. So just this part of it, the tablet part. Sorry, Dawn. I'm at my mom's house because my grandma is home from the hospital in hospice, and I gotta help take care of her while my mom's in Egypt. But this part is $399. The case is $129, and the stylus is $129. So it's not cheap.
No.
And as somebody who buys boxes of journals to write in,
And it's basically an endless notebook. Like, I've been using it for months, and I haven't even used up 1% of the storage space yet. So,
Wow.
and the battery lasts for weeks. But I gotta go help my grandma real quick. I'll be back.
Okay. I'm afraid of doing another sprint because if I do another sprint, I won't come back. Because I'm at that point where I'm just like, okay, my bed looks really good right now. It's like, oh, bed, you looking sexy. No, I was there was that whole ableism chat that was going on during the last sprint, and yeah, this the story that I'm doing for Pride Month for the Pride and Prejudice thing, I'm also tackling ableism in it because she's not just, you know, fixing, quote unquote, fixing uh like sexuality and stuff. She's also fixing bodies, except this is a town that has been built around people's differences. So she's actually taking away their capability by fixing them, by making them what her normal is.
that's awesome that you wrote 3K this week. I did not. I'm trying not to have like the jealousy over people who are actually getting stuff written right now.
Yeah, CB says, I hate the term normal. That's why I said her normal. Because it's not their normal, because their normal is everyone is different.
There's a wonderful book called The End of Normal that all it is explaining the variety. Like it's really interesting in that it goes through and explains where various concepts of normal and this, that, and the other come from. And my absolute favorite chapter of the book, because I went in on such a deep dive after I read the chapter, was when people are pointing at brain scans and saying, this is where you think this and this is where you think that. No, but maybe, because those maps that they show you are literally the averaged score.
Mm-hmm.
So if half the people actually think on the left side of the brain and half the people think on the right side of the brain, the map that they show you will have that activity right in the middle,
Mm-hmm.
where that's not actually where any of the neurons are doing anything, because brains are self-organizing and they don't follow the strict structures that we think that they do. Like there may be a bell curve or something like that where, a certain plurality of people fit into a certain map, but very few of them do. And there's a really interesting story about World War One in there, where the British had a really hard time fielding soldiers at the beginning of the war because they had defined what a soldier should be and basically mass produced uniforms for the average British man.
Uh-huh.
and almost no one could fit into the uniform because either their torsos were too long or their necks were too wide or their shoulders were too broad, or like almost every soldier had one measurement that was outside of what they made, so they had this
Hmm.
huge stockpile of uniforms that they just couldn't use.
Because with all those uniforms, none of the soldiers were uniform.
Yeah, and
Uh,
they actually thought it was a problem with the soldiers and started doing various drills and stuff to try to shrink their necks because that was the problem. Like, you're not exercising properly, which is why your shoulders are too broad and your neck's too thick for the collars we made. Like, it literally took the bureaucracy a while to figure out, oh, people are people. Oopsie.
yeah, one of my favorite smaller, lesser known Greek myths is the Procrustean bed. Um, are you familiar with that one?
Not off the top of my head.
Procrustes had a bed that I'm trying to remember exactly how it goes, but um, it was a certain length, and he was supposed to, or not supposed to. He had it in his head that people were supposed to be that length to sleep in the bed, and so he would either cut feet off or stretch people.
Oh no.
So the Procrustean bed is the Greek mythology metaphor of, you know, trying to force different people into one mold.
That sounds terrifying.
And we do this way too much.
Hmm. Yeah. Look up Procrustes. It'll be an interesting read for you.
A couple months ago, I was having a conversation with a friend of mine that's just like, if things keep going the way they're doing, they're going to define everything as neurodivergent. And I was just like, yeah, you think? Like, maybe there never was a quote unquote normal. Maybe that was an illusion the whole time. And like, I didn't hear back from them for a while because apparently I challenged their view of reality in a way that they were not welcome into their life at
Um,
the time. And it's like,
I've seen people, like, especially people on the right wing side, because most of my family is that way, where they're always like, "Well, everybody nowadays is all like mentally ill." It's like, no, everybody back then was mentally ill too. People are just actually getting treatment for it now.
yep.
Well, there wasn't so many trans people back then. No, that's there were. They just weren't able to do anything about it back then, and they can't now.
Unless they were rich.
Hmm. Oh,
Like one
but
of my
yeah.
favorite Roman emperors because their life was so trash, and you know how I'm just attracted to the trash. Was I don't know if trans or non, but I don't know which of those terms because they didn't exist back then would have fit this person. But she insisted that everyone call her, everyone call her empress, and always wear a dress. Like, don't tell me.
Oh, well, everybody wants to be gay nowadays. Now, everybody was gay back then too. They just were hiding or murdered. So, yeah.
Oh,
And besides, not as many people are actually gay as people think.
when I first came out, I got into an argument with somebody who said to me, and I quote, everybody wants to kiss their best friend. Everyone's had same gender thoughts one time or another. It's just most of us had the common decency not to act on them. And I'm just like, oh honey, no, no. I know some straight people, and they have never, ever thought about kissing their dude bro friends. Like, no. you are at least bi. You are at the very least bi, because no, no, that's not no.
But yeah, what I was saying was, um, yeah, that throughout history there were probably a lot fewer like fully gay people, but there were a lot more bi people.
Um.
Well, also you
Oh
have to
shit! I
remember,
just lost my entire train of thought.
as far as
Tom,
language
not
goes,
in
It'll come
water.
back.
the term homosexual in most European languages dates to the 1860s. That was not a word before the 1860s.
Hmm.
So, looking for, well, nobody self-identified before. They didn't. They literally did not have that term.
Uh-huh.
That was not something that they could self-identify as, because the language did not exist yet. Oh, honey, Lord Byron and Bram Stoker. I mean, like, read their stuff carefully. Like, they both gave birth to two of my favorite vampire stories separately from each other, because Lord Byron was that vampire, and Bram Stoker was really afraid everybody would find out that he was connected to his boyfriend. Like, if you read his,
Okay. Continue. Sorry. I'll wait.
I'm just saying, if you read Bram Stoker's correspondences and then reread Dracula, you realize, oh, this is about your relationship with Oscar Wilde. You're Jonathan Harker, and he's the mean Transylvanian count.
So a funny story that occurred to me recently is Jordan's dad is and stepmom are like super bigoted, like anti-LGBT. Like, he literally, when Jordan was dating his ex-boyfriend before he was with me, his stepmom and dad said, "Oh, what a waste." And it's like, fuck you. But what's the biggest fu to them is that every single one of their children, all 5 of them, are LGBT and atheists now. So
Whoopsie!
and Jordan is thinking about going to school to get his PhD in molecular biology, anthropology, so he can study evolution.
I still don't get how people, the creationists, can't fit evolution into their worldview.
As somebody who grew
I've
up
had
with
a lot of Christians that tell me that they believe the creation story is evolution, because if you were to speed up the process of, this is just a vague story that somebody said to me, if you speed up the process of evolution so it's like all within a few seconds, it looks like somebody's coming up from the dust.
Right, exactly.
And Adam was made from the ground.
And that's
And
the thing.
so
It,
that
it
changed my perspective on it, because I used to be a creationist, and then somebody said that to me, and I was like, you know what? That's a really good point.
Oh yeah, I was a young Earth creationist for a very long time, and yeah, when you actually start looking into it, honestly, for me, it was the whales, because I was in that camp where it was like, but we have no transitional fossils, and then somebody took me to a museum and showed me the lineage of whales from land to sea, and all the bones, and I went, oh, we do have them.
Okay.
They
Okay.
do exist. Um, well, crap.
See, I've always believed in, like, I've always seen the proof and believed in microevolution, but like the big, like, the major evolution of like coming down from that to what we are now, I had a hard time accepting that, but now it's different for me. I've like
hmm
seen a lot of proof in like that whole, like, if you speed it up, it'll kind of look like we're coming out of the ground from dust, and the atom was made from the ground. I'm like, okay, yep, I got it now. I'm good.
And once you start understanding how genetics work, and it's like, so something really doesn't need to like spontaneously decide I'm going to have an eyeball. It just needs to have a weird, quirky gene thing that goes, oh, what happens when we put this together? Ah, it's so bright. Why?
Okay.
I didn't realize you had Little John there.
Jason, I didn't realize
Not
I had
at
to
all.
go in there.
Okay.
Kendra is loud sometimes. So. Yeah, my grandma is
Dying.
wow, thanks Kendra. She has breast cancer.
I'm not supposed.
It's
I shouldn't
terminal
laugh
breast
at that.
cancer. She just recently had an extended hospital stay and came home on Easter Sunday, and then my mom on the following Wednesday, so this last Wednesday, went to Egypt. It is going to be gone for a month, and so I was asked to be out here to help because my grandma is needs help with mobility, getting up and down from bed and going to the bathroom and all that kind of stuff. So I'm here to help take care of her. All right. Well, I just wanted to stop by and say hi, and now Kendra is turning on TV, so I'm gonna bounce so that
Well,
you don't get
I think we're about to end anyway
okay.
because I am sleepy. I have been
Well,
yawning like constantly.
I'm gonna say, as you can see from my picture here, that Rose City Editing is where Jason and I do our editing work. You can go to the website rosecityediting.com and you can hire us. We're not available in August, but before or after that, we're good to go. So, yay!
And yes, I am not this stupid when I'm editing because I'm usually editing in the part of the day that I'm functional.
Yep, yep.
I am this dumb all the time. I
Oh my
like to
goodness, Charlie.
I like to pretend that I'm a smart bean, but no.
But yeah, oh, oh,
All
stop it.
right, deuces. Catch you guys
Have
later. I'll try
Catch you
fun.
to
later,
come to
Meadow.
Humble
Thank
Stream
you for
next
coming.
week.
Uh, okay, Charlie, do you have any goodbyes you want to give?
Uh, all of my Legend of the Jade Moon books are now over on World Anvil for people to read for the freeze if you are interested, as well as the Fates Haro series of short stories is over there, and my newest book, The Hidden and the Mask of the Gods, is over there. So if you just go to oursolemnhour.com, it will take you over to the website and you can read all of that for free, as well as the world building and other stuff. There will be a game sprouting up. Some of it's already there. Like you'll be going through and like, why is there game stats on this one particular sheet? Because soon all of it will have that. Um, it is in the process of being born. So yeah, I stream over on Twitch at twitch.tv/CE Dorset on Wednesdays and Fridays starting at 5 p.m. Eastern. But starting next month, I'm going to be moving the Wednesday stream back over here to the YouTubes, and we're going to be doing chatty stuff because I know I'm a little burnt out from camp and class and everything this month, and I don't want to be productive anymore. So, and I feel like a lot of people are like that. So, we will be bringing back Fantasy First Aid in the first Wednesday of next month. And if there are any topics that you want to make sure that we cover, do let me know. Or if you have a project that you would like us to actually do first aid on, if you have any questions, if you want to submit something for us to help you with, just contact me. My DMs are open everywhere. Because those have been some of the most fun episodes of Fantasy First Aid when we actually had somebody on who was specifically having issues with either their world building or their story, and collectively as a group helped work them through it. And I'm really looking forward to that.
Um, I am looking forward to getting more written on this story for whatchamacallit, for Pride and Prejudice. Oh, and I put our I put our subtitle for it on there as well.
Nice.
Pride and Prejudice Year 2, Disaster Piece Theater.
It's going to be so much fun this year. I
I
can't wait.
hope so.
I can't wait to see all the stories. Last year, the stories were so good, and I still need 6 seasons of a movie and a movie for like 3 of them.
Including one of the people who are in here right now.
Mm-hmm. Your cowboy story. I just can't. I just can't. This is so good. Anyway.
Um, and I'm also thinking of probably on the 25th, so the day before, doing Pride karaoke again. Or should we do it at the beginning of the month?
And if for some reason I disappear through all that, the hubby is going through. We are actually doing a Pride event in town this year, which I have feelings about. Like, I'm excited and terrified. Last time we did a Pride event, 10 whole people showed up, and that was it. But
Don't worry, Jen won't let me do the footlongs and the kibasas.
yeah, yeah. Brian was wanting to do like a San Francisco Pride table, and I'm just like, that will get us shot.
I was gonna have footlong hot dogs and kibasas. This way, you had the size queens and the curiouses,
You also wanted to have fish tacos
and fish tacos. Gotta be inclusive.
because you are a horrible angry queen,
Yeah,
and I love you.
yeah. And I got the gay babies put booze back in, so now I think we should have like I don't know. I kind of want to have like gay juice. Just people. This way, if somebody walks up and goes, "My trigger, will it turn me gay?" I'll be like, "It'll make you fabulous if you have enough of it."
To quote one of my favorite reviewers, I don't understand why straight people think that the gay is contagious. Because if it were, we already would have sent so much to Chris Evans that he'd be ours by now.
Yeah.
And I was just like, right?
I'm just like, if it was contagious, everyone would have been infected because we are all throughout hospitality.
Who doesn't want to be Billy Porter? I mean,
Yeah. Oh, there's the whole hospitality thing too. It's like, I mean, unless it's a bad place, but it's a bad place because they probably don't have any gays to make it fabulous.
true.
All right, and we do have one vote for do it the day before and mention it every stream until the event. That is a thought.
I got yelled at by Spence, and I'm not sure what for.
You,
Probably everything.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we were gonna do a play date today, weren't we?
yeah, is it like,
I told people to remind me. My brain don't work.
I'm reminding you. Is it time?
I don't know.
All right, so thank you all for coming, and we will see you next time. Goodbye.
Bye.